Coach, heading into this season, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to grow on a daily basis with this team. A lot of these guys that experience what they've experienced thus far in college, really grew together from a standpoint of adversity, growing through adversity and sticking with one another, on and off the court in a very unique way. So I'm looking forward to this team, being able to have some successes, being able to have some failures, and being able to then make the adjustments and the efforts to work on those moving forward and see how we can grow on a day-to-day as a team on and off the court each and every week.
Speaking about your team, what is it that you like most about this group of guys this year?
I just think they're really good people. I think so. That might not be the answer that, is always just like, oh yeah, we have a great group of young men. Like, you're talking about your speed, your quickness, athleticism, things like that. But when it's at the end of the day, in everything that, we're going through in society, college basketball, whatever the case may be, it's about having relationships with each other. And I'm able to go in on a day-to-day and build a genuine relationship with good people. I'm honored and blessed to be able to be the head coach of a group of guys that, my staff and I have worked hard to bring in, but they also brought each other in. We rely upon our own locker room to kind of give us insight on how we're going to click, in the locker room as teammates as well. So I'm definitely excited about our athleticism. I'm definitely our versatility. There's no doubt about that. But if you're going to say one thing, I'm excited about the group of young men that we have as people in that locker room.
Looking at your team this year, what is one important thing that must happen for you all to be successful?
I think it's going to be a collective effort. We have versatility in size of our guards and our athleticism and length. And we're going to have to rely upon one another on a daily basis. That's going to be one thing that's very important, whether the guy's getting many minutes on the court during games, or he's pushing one another in practice on a day in, day out basis. When you have a team that collectively is we have older guys and some veterans, but we don't have the day-to-day experience necessarily yet as one unit. So that's a high level of importance for us, because we do have versatility in how we can play. And then, if you want to go from a statistical standpoint or some things like that, really want to do a good job of cutting down on turnovers with the speed of the guys that we have on the team. Sometimes that could raise up a little bit. And then we got to do a good job of boxing out and rebounding the ball. If we're going to be versatile defensively, you get that stop, you got to come up with the ball.
So looking at the OVC as a whole, what are your general impressions on the league looking into this year?
I think it's going to be a really deep league this year. You have a lot of guys that are returning, a lot of teams that have experience in one way or another. Obviously, you have some new coaches as well. So that newness and that's always an exciting thing for a program. You have 10 teams that I think on a day in and day out, you're really going to be able to compete against one another, have some experience and some history with one another as well. We've gone through this league, and I know there's, slowly becoming a sense of rivalry or individual, battles that have gone on over the last couple of years. And you look at you have Belmont to kind of talk about some league teams in particular. Belmont has the veterans back, has the experience, has had a lot of success. Murray State as well. And then obviously, you can't overlook what Moorhead did last year. They're a very well coached team, very, very together team. And I think they had 17 wins, which would have proven the kind of team that they are. And they have a lot coming back as well. So the depth of this league from top to bottom is going to be something that is exciting on a day in and day out basis to challenge yourself and always be ready and stay motivated.
Now, you mentioned a little bit ago some of the areas for improvement, but what do you see as the biggest challenge for you all this upcoming season?
Just, coming together, on the court. I do think that, I referenced it a little bit earlier. This team is, we have a lot of guys coming back, but we haven't had the experience of a normal development on a day in, day out basis with practices and such. I know some people like, oh, you don't want to talk about the past and things like that. It's not about dwelling on any of that. It's about simply talking about the facts. You had 19 games in 43 days. That's okay to talk about, because you don't practice. Had we not made the tournament last year, we'd had 18 games in 35 days. That's more than a game every other day. So that's going to be a challenge in really growing with a group of guys that have been together, really worked hard this summer, really worked hard in the preseason, and then hitting some milestones or some, potential variables or obstacles throughout the season that a team that has been together typically would have seen. And our obstacles were just different than some teams, really any team probably in the country last year. So we're going to have to really understand how to, when adversity hits, stay together and kind of forge ahead. And I think we have the group of guys and young men that are going to be able to do that.